the new standard in performance and safety. At $35,490 fully equipped and 7-year warranty, the all-new MG HS is value you've never seen before.
Peter Siddle, big thank you, mate, for joining me on Gibbo Goes One, driven by MG. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Just arrived down in Hobart, so my new home for the next couple of years, which should be fun.
What a beautiful place Tasmania is, mate. You've gone to the best state in the country. I'll get to your ISO in a minute. I'm going to run through your stats a little bit first. And I'm pretty sure these are your Aussie stats, but matches, around about 90 matches, 240 wickets. That's about 15,000 balls you delivered over your international Aussie career. 1,200 runs, total of 50, highest of 50 in about 11 years, mate. You must be pretty pumped and, I guess, excited about what you've been able to achieve in your international career.
Yeah, 100%. I think, I'm still playing the game, so domestically, so sort of I probably haven't looked back on it as much as I probably will once I'm fully done. But yeah, like as you know, and growing up as a youngster, you just dream of maybe being a professional sportsman at some stage and seeing what you can achieve. But yeah, like to be able to represent my country once and then to go on and do it for 10, 11 years, something I'm very proud of. And hence the reason I'm still playing the game domestically is I still love it. I was just getting a bit old for those international games, and the youngsters are getting too good, so it was time for me to give it up last year.
I was going to ask about the honour of representing your country. For us as basketballers, to be able to play in an Olympics or to represent Australia and put on that green and gold, that must be a pretty special honour. And tell me about the first time you received your baggy green and who presented it to you.
Yeah, huge. My first trip was to India. So the first experience was going overseas and being a part of the Australian team. And there was a second test of that series. Stuart Clark gone down for sore elbow. So Ricky Ponting came up to me the day before the game. He was captain at the time and said, "Be ready to go." Obviously a nervous night's sleep. But then the next day he presented the cap from Ricky Ponting. Someone that I'd sort of looked up to and idolised growing up and just watching Australia play obviously get him to present the cap to me. I can't remember a hell of a lot of what he said. I was too busy looking at the cap that he was about to give me. So, just that experience of finally getting that cap and being able to walk out in the field with the guys and then actually feel a part of the Australian team.
I assume that first ball or that first kind of moment would have been pretty nerve-wracking for your first kind of match.
Yeah, it was. I opened the bowling with Brett Lee, so he bowled the first over from the other end, and I came on, and all I was thinking, top of the mark, just run in, hit the wicket hard, and I ended up I ran in, I hit the wicket hard, and hit Gautam Gambhir in the head straight away, first ball. Hit him in the head and broke his helmet. So it was a memorable first ball in the end, that just gave me a bit of confidence then. Once I got that first ball out of the way, it was good to go.
The boys must have loved that. I know, like, say, playing football, if you're a first game, you go in and get a big hit or a big tackle, that kind of solidifies your team, your place on the team. Like that first ball kind of hitting him in the head must have set a bit of feeling and emotion amongst the group. Yeah,
it did. It did get the boys buzzing, and I think that you were right. It probably settled me down a bit. I think, them buzzing around and excited about it all probably settled my nerves a little bit and made me feel a lot more comfortable out there. So, it was obviously a long, torturous day. It's never easy playing over in India, but to be able to, obviously get that cap, get on the field with the boys and represent Australia was just sort of a tick of the childhood dream.
You obviously played for a long time, you still are, but do you have a favourite place that you've liked to go and play that is kind of memorable for yourself?
I think England, even though it's so similar to Australia, but the Ashes is always a huge series for us. It's one of the biggest ones we play. So to go over there, just the vibe around the whole Ashes series, you cop a lot of shit. You get, a lot of scrutiny from the media and everything's against you. But I think that's what makes it so exciting, being able to be over there in the spotlight, but under a lot of pressure, and then trying to perform and win games. That's that's the exciting part about it. As hard as it is, it's probably one of the most memorable experiences I've had.
And then playing in Australia, I know as fans and people sitting in the crowd drinking beer on Boxing Day, that's probably one a lot of people look forward to that. Do you have one in Australia? Is Boxing Day one of the bigger tests you can play in Australia?
Yeah, being a Victorian, I'm probably a little bit biased. It is, yeah. Like growing up as a young kid, like you said, you go along, you just watch the Boxing Day test. It's huge, big crowd. So that was always exciting to play, be a part of. But I think the last couple of years, I played Big Bash for the Adelaide Strikers, and getting to play at Adelaide Oval, and that's a beautiful oval. I just love how picturesque it is, and we play a game on New Year's Eve, so leading into obviously the big countdown, we get to play a game of cricket. The crowd's packed, and it's a great atmosphere. So outside of Boxing Day, which is an unbelievable day, Adelaide Oval is probably up there with the best place in the world to play any form of cricket.
Yeah, I mean, living in Adelaide for 4 years, going to a bunch of Port and Crows games, the atmosphere before games, it's an awesome venue and it's close to the city. And you're right, that's one of the best grounds that I've been to watch sport for sure. I've seen on your Instagram, I don't know if it was just a jokey thing with Kevin Peterson. I know you bought him out a few times. Do you have anyone that you know? Like I know when I'm playing basketball, I know I can score on someone, I know they can't guard me, or I can defend someone. Did you have anyone whenever you went into a match, you're like, I'm gonna bowl him out for sure?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. There's always a lot of talk about the KP one, and I did get him out a lot, and I had a lot of success against him. So he was one good one to play against. But he was the second most that I got out. There's Matt Pryor, another Englishman, the wicket keeper, who we played a lot against, but he was the batsman I dismissed the most. I got him out 11 times, KP at 10. So he was always one. But both of those guys, they're actually challenging people to play against because they're aggressive. And I think I just like that challenge of trying to sort of restrict them and get them out. And over the years, I had a lot of success, which was it's always fun to have a bit of banter with KP about.
He's Matt Pryor. He's going to come up here in a minute, but obviously with basketball, you scout a lot. You have plays, offenses, and whatever. Like, what's it like with cricket? I mean, I'm sure you scout how a batter likes to play his strokes and where he gets out in the pass. Is there a lot of that stuff that kind of goes on with cricket as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's always little set plans. We go through each batsman, have little individual plans that you might have for them. For us, it tends to be probably more the field placements that you set for those individual batsmen, because when it comes down to the game time, the bowling and where you pitch the ball is all pretty similar. Doesn't matter who you bowl to, you sort of want to bowl at the top of off stump. That's a pretty regulation area to bowl the ball. So for us, it's more about where we want to set the fields to individual batsmen. There might be a couple of different deliveries that we bowl to certain people, but it's obviously similar in a way that you study each player, have an idea, and then and see how it goes. But like anything can happen in a game, things can change quickly, and you just have to revert back to what you know best. And most of the time, it is just hitting a good length and trying to hit the stumps and see what happens there. So plenty of that, but I'm not big on watching the video, so I'll leave that to everyone else, and they can just tell me what to do.
It can take a long time and a lot of your day up to watch video and scout and whatnot. I'm assuming bowling that many balls for that long and obviously still going, like, I know you would train your body like everyone, your shoulders and whatnot, but did you have any kind of, I know you had a back issue as well. That must have played a fair part in being able to perform at a high level with injuries and whatnot. All that impact of the bowling and the action and stuff, did that play a part?
Yeah, definitely. I think fast bowling, it's probably something that if I ever had kids, or I have mates that have got kids, I tell them that they're not bowling, just throwing balls. They can be a batter. I think the action and just the wear and tear that it puts on your body. So I've had a couple of shoulder recos, had 3 stress fractures in my back, had ankle reconstruction as well. So it sounds like a lot, but I've actually, to be fair, to compared to most blokes, I've probably done pretty well throughout my career. Sort of, it's been 15, 16 years now, and I haven't done too bad. So fingers crossed at the back end, I can still walk around and have some mobility. But I'm feeling good. 35 and still going as a fast bowler. Everything's feeling all right at the moment. So touch wood, it stays like that for the next couple of years.
I know you went to the vegan diet a fair time ago now. I know when you first kind of went through that, just from reading some stuff, that you had a lot of critics and your performance, and that people were blaming it on that and whatnot. But that must have played a fair part in why you're still playing now, maybe, and just having your body feel better. Talk to me about the vegan diet and how that's worked for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it's obviously at first when I did it, it's nearly 9 years now, I think. So initially back then, like, there wasn't a lot of sportsmen, especially in Australia, if any, that had done it. So, yeah, obviously the people just trying, like, judging me, criticising me, which it was for a short time at the start. And then, like when you sort of get 3 to 6 months in, and they see how I was going, how I was travelling and stuff, it turned into they were actually intrigued then, and they started asking questions and got a lot more comfortable with it, even though they didn't have to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think personally for me, it's probably the big thing I've found is probably with recovery. I've been able to recover a lot better. We tend to play games really close together. So sometimes between test matches, you only have a 3-day break. So you have to try and, rest up after 5 days, get as best recovered as you can to go again. And that's where I found that the biggest thing there, I think, just being able to fuel the body quicker and recover quicker so you are ready to go the next game. And yeah, to be fair, sort of last 5 years I've been injury free and ticking along nicely. So there's obviously other factors that come into that. I'll probably look after my body in all different ways a lot better than I did when I was a youngster, and you just play the game because you can. But it's definitely given me a lot of benefits over the year, and probably the longevity has helped with that.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go back and see if it triggers. I got asked to ask you what's your favourite test moment, but I think I may have it. So 25th of November, 2010. Now, this is a special day for one reason to start with, because it's your birthday, right?
It is, yes.
So 25th of November, I think you turned 26.
Yep.
It was your first test back. There was some controversy around your selection. You hadn't played for a while, I don't think. I think Doug Bollinger was the other option to pick. They chose you. First innings, you knock over KP again, and Paul Collingwood, I think, in the first session. Comes to the second session. I can't remember what their numbers were. They had a decent tally. Alistair Cook goes down the first ball. You talked about him before, Matt Pryor, who you've knocked over now 11 times. And then here comes Stuart Broad up to the crease. Talk to me about what's going through your mind right now. One, it's your birthday. Two, the controversy around should you be selected. Obviously, you got 2 wickets, now 4 wickets. Stuart Broad comes to the crease. What's kind of going through your mind with this kind of moment going on?
Yeah, it was. Obviously, it turns out to be one of the greatest memories. Before that, like you said, I'd been out for 9 months. It was the last time I did my back. I'd been out for 9 months. I'd only played a couple of games for Victoria. I played a couple of one-day games leading in, so I hadn't played a lot of cricket. And ended up getting selected. So obviously there's tick. That's the first job done, and I'm back in the Australian Test team, ready to go, start of an Ashes series. But I think you I got the few wickets, feeling good. But being on a hat trick, like, you tend to be on a lot over your career, as silly as it sounds. You never really get them. So
yeah,
I wasn't super nervous because, like, I'd been on a couple in Test cricket anyway. So you just sort of get back to the top of your mark. And Mitch Johnson was there with me, and he's like trying to give me a few pointers. What are you going to do? And I'm just like, I'll just run in, try and hit the wicket, try and bowl fast, hit the wicket hard. And he's like, well, good luck. And in the end, I didn't really execute the ball that I was trying. Like I said, I was trying to hit the wicket hard and bowl fast. I ended up, it didn't hit the wicket. It hit him on the full. But it turned out to be the perfect ball. A lot better than I probably imagined it was going to be. So obviously, seeing the umpire's finger go up, it was unbelievable because you don't really see many of them, and to be the one that's got one was quite amazing. But with the DRS rule that we've got, he reviews it. So then we have to wait and make sure that the third umpire then gives it out again. But that probably just meant that I got to celebrate it twice. So it turned out to be a good result.
That must have been one hell of a birthday present to, hat trick on your birthday.
Yeah, it is. I think that's the thing. People always say it's probably going to hard. It's hard to ever give you or give me a decent present ever again, just for the sheer fact that I achieved that a long time ago. So it definitely is. Sorry to everyone that's brought me a present before, but it probably is the best birthday present I'll ever get in my life. That's for sure.
And I think Shane Warne was the last to do it before you, like a fair period ago, like probably nearly Australia's best ever bowler. That must be pretty special to be mentioned alongside, someone like him as well.
Yeah, it is. I think, like it's, I think, it'd been, I don't know exactly how many years, but it would have been nearly 10 years, I think, maybe
so, yeah.
8 years before that, when he got his. And there's only, I think there's 10 people that have got them.
Yeah.
Have got test hat tricks for Australia. And one bloke, there's 11 that have been taken because one bloke got 2. So just to be in such a small number when there's only been 450 players play for Australia and only 10 people have done it. So to be one of those, it is something that I get reminded about a lot. I tend to get everyone sort of sends it through to me in WhatsApp and messages and social media. There's always someone banging it through to me. So I tend to watch it a little bit more than I probably would.
Now, you escaped Melbourne at an unbelievable time. You've been in isolation in Tassie, which I'm assuming now you're free to kind of move around a little bit freer than what you would have been if you're here in Melbourne. Like all athletes, you find ways to keep busy and stay fit. I understand that you've taken up the hobby of Ironman and you ride about 200 kilometres on the bike a day. Is it a day or?
No. I usually try and do 200 a week, but I have done a 200k ride. Yeah.
That is a lot. What is that? Something you're bored? You're in the house. You needed to stay fit. Grab a jump on a bike.
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty back in March when it all sort of when it all sort of blew up and it all started kicking off. That I've always loved Ironman and women, but just the event. So I was like, in this first little ISO period, I might just do some triathlons. So I started just training for a bit of fun. Then ended up doing 4. I did 4 with a few friends over that sort of period of time. My goal was to do the Olympic distance triathlon, which is 1.5k swim, 40k ride, 10k run.
Yep.
So got to that, ticked that off, and so the goal is to do some Ironmen and some half Ironmen in the future. But I was sort of getting a bit closer to cricket. I thought I'd better start concentrating on the job that pays the bills. So that's all on hold for the moment. But still training. I love the bike, getting out on the bike, and I ticked off 200 in one ride. But most rides are usually anywhere from 30 to sort of 100 k's. But I try and get about 150, 200 k's a week on the bike around all my other training, and I just enjoy it. Just enjoy getting out, fresh air, rug up, and off you go. It's quite peaceful in the end. So I've been enjoying it.
Now, you've been an NBL fan for a while now. Ash Stewart, who's a great friend of mine and obviously really close with Anna, your wife. You grew up as a Giant, followed from the Giants back in the day?
Yeah. I was so basketball pretty much my main sport when I was a young kid. I loved the game. That's what I wanted to do. Footy and cricket were just the ones that I played in on the side sort of thing. So I was a Giants fan. My brother was a Tigers fan. So good rivalry in the early days. But I loved D-Mac and going to watch him at the old glass house. That pretty much we talk about that. No one probably remembers it. That's anyone under probably 30 doesn't even know what the glass house is. But I used to love going down watching the games there, and always been a big supporter of just basketball in general. Still love the game, and when I can get to games, I just love getting along and watching the boys play.
You're obviously now a Melbourne United fan. If we can try and get you onto the green side over at Phoenix, that'd be unreal. But Ash tells me she introduced you to Chris Golding, one at superstar of the league of United. That kind of connection now obviously still kind of goes. I think you guys keep in contact and whatnot. If you had to meet, a superstar of another sport, must be pretty cool as well. Yeah,
it was. Obviously, Ash has been a good friend of myself and my wife for a long time. When she was working for United, introduced me when I was going to games, and it just turned out, to sort of hit it off. And So now, yeah, spend a lot of time together. Usually, whenever we've got time, try and get out on the golf course and whack a few balls around. And we're both no good, but it's good. It's a good way for us to catch up. And yeah, I just love going along, supporting him. But yeah, it's just nice, meeting guys that you just love watching. And you tend to, like most sportsmen, you tend to have a lot of things in common with other sportsmen. So and because it's a game I do love, it's obviously turned into a good relationship. And yeah, just obviously being down in Hobart now, I've got a new team coming soon. So there's going to be the big rivalry if I align to them or not.
Well, I was going to ask about that because I know, like, you've taken, I think, Uzi Kawaja, Tim Payne, good mate, also gets involved with the basketball. He's Tassie guy, and I'm assuming, I'm hoping, being in Tasmania, that he'll get behind the Tassie team as well. So I know you guys have a little bit of competition during games and whatnot, but it's pretty cool. Obviously, the league has gone back in the early days with the Giants. League was at a peak, and then finances and teams falling away, and it's Larry and his crew the last 5 years have brought him right back up to see the highs and lows. But to now have a new team come in, it's pretty awesome for the league.
Yeah, it is. No, exactly what you said. I think, obviously because I do follow it so closely from an early age that, yeah, you saw it just go downhill and just sort of disappear in a way from the sort of public. And but yeah, to see where it's at now, like, just going along as a fan and just watching the support that everyone's given you guys, and it's cool because I remember when I was a young kid, being in big crowds, watching the games and just loving it. So now to see the young kids be able to come along and support you guys and support the league, it's huge. And I think Hobart, they get a good following down here. I know, obviously, coming down here and playing the Hobart Hurricanes in the Big Bash, they got a good supporter base. So yeah, hopefully basketball can be the same thing, because I know, even just speaking to the lads so far that I'm obviously training with at the moment, that they're excited. There's a lot of excitement around town about having another professional sporting team in Hobart. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like next season, being able to go and watch some games down here and be a part of it and not miss out, because I am down here not being able to watch games. So it's going to be exciting, and hopefully get a few of the old Tassie natives back, and it'll be good to go.
Have you had any, obviously they're trying to find a name and come up with a name, and it's all online. Have you had any take or seen any of the names that have been thrown around as potentials?
I've seen a few. Some have been absolutely horrible and some have been good. I don't. Obviously, they want to start because it is a bit new and stuff. Obviously, they want to try and probably get a new name, but I don't mind the Devils back.
Yeah,
that's so. Like, I'd be. Yeah, I know. I'm not a Tasmanian, but I reckon it's a cool name. It fits the state. So I'd love them to do that, and you can sort of bring back some of the older guys and make it a bit bigger. So I don't think they will, but I think it'd be pretty cool if they did go back to that. But yeah, obviously the cricket side's Tassie, the Tigers, and then the Hobart in the Big Bash are Hurricanes. So obviously, yeah, you could always align with those. Hurricanes probably don't really fit, but I don't mind Tigers or Devils, but it's probably a bit too soon to steal the Tigers name, I would have thought.
I wish they went the Devils. I think, I don't know why, I haven't really looked into it, but that would be amazing to bring them back. But I guess we'll wait and see what they pull out. I've seen the Tritons as one name, or the Mountaineers.
Yeah, there's Lumberjacks, and
those uniforms will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, obviously, you sit courtside. United do an unbelievable game night show, and the crowds and whatnot. Obviously, being able to sit courtside and stuff, and just to soak in all the atmosphere. I know you've been to a lot of NBA games, which I'll touch on in a minute, but just being in that environment, just so close to the action, and it's just awesome to be around.
It is. And like I said, like, just the atmosphere these days, it is back to when I was, or when we were both young kids watching games, that it is just a great atmosphere to watch. I think, the basketball's unbelievable quality and great for everyone to watch. But yeah, just being able to be there and be a part of it. I'm a mad fan. I just love sport. So to be able to get along, obviously watch the Melbourne games in Melbourne, but I'm pretty lucky that having the connection with Ash and guys at the NBL that I've watched games pretty much in every state. Adelaide, Perth, I think Perth was one of the greatest experiences I had.
Yeah.
Just going there in their stadium, seeing how much they love it. That was a cool experience. So it's fun. I think the Sydney in the big stadium now when they pack it out. I just really enjoy the atmosphere now that not, as a fan that we can enjoy. But even for you guys, because I know what it's like playing and you have a good crowd and a good atmosphere, how much fun it is playing. To be back at like the old days for you guys, I think it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. And I got to play in one of them, the open air game. I don't know which one you went to. I don't know if it was Boxing Day or not, but I got to play in the open air gym. When you're playing, you don't notice it. Like I had no clue that you could see the sky if you look up because you don't really look that high. But
yeah,
the photos and just that whole atmosphere of the roof opening is something that I don't think has happened anywhere else in the world as well.
No, that's right. Bringing that up there, I've been to a few of them now, and yeah, just to see that, and like you said, we see it better than you because we can look around and see what's going on. And but yeah, to be able to play or to watch a game that is open air when you don't see that anywhere in the world. It's sort of like pretty old school, like you're playing basketball at your school sort of type thing. So it was cool atmosphere there, and I think just the buzz around it, and it just makes for excitement. I think it doesn't really change much, just a bit of a roof open, but
yeah,
I think being a part of that, like you said, pretty much the only time in the world that it's happened, it's pretty cool.
And obviously you like to get over. You probably would have been over there now if it wasn't for the virus. But do you have a favourite NBA Aussie? Now I got asked this by one of them. There's one smart ass out of all of them. But do you have a favourite NBA Aussie player? Obviously, Paddy, Baines, Delhi, Dante, Joe. Do you have a favourite Aussie NBA player?
Past or present?
Present.
Without annoying anyone, I might just throw a bit of a curveball, and I might say it's I'll go with Ryan Bronkoff.
So now
I won't give anyone the shits with that one. I'll throw a bit of a curveball, but
no, I like it.
I just in essence, I just love watching the Aussies play. So I think to have so many over there playing now. I think when we were growing up, there wasn't really anyone to watch. So I don't really support anyone individually as a team. I just like watching all those boys play. So to see Joey and Paddy going strong in the bubble and stuff like that, it's been pretty cool.
Now this game has a lot more meaning now since what's happened, but I had a chance. I'll regret so much not flying over to go to LA for Kobe's last ever game, Staples Center, against Joe. Talk to me about being in the crowd for that game. He scored 60 points, won the game, just that whole experience of being in that venue for that last game.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't reckon I'll be ever able to top that experience at a sporting event. I think, very lucky. I was always going to be over there. With Ash, my wife and the friends were going to Coachella, and I was just pretty much going around to watch the last few games of the season. I just happened to be in LA, threw a few messages out, and I was lucky enough to get a ticket. So, but yeah, amazing experience. I think, getting to the stadium early, and just the atmosphere and the vibe, and then just to see what he did, it was quite amazing, really, in the end, to see it unfold. But yeah, amazing finish. I don't think you can't script it. You can't even script that stuff. Obviously, he took a lot of shots, which you need to do. There was a lot of poor shooting, but to be able to drop 60 in your last game, especially at his age, it wasn't if he was retiring at an early age. He was getting on by then. And to be able to watch Joe, I know obviously he lost and stuff, but I remember I took a photo of Kobe dropping a 3-pointer over the top of him from the corner and sending him that. But just that experience to be able to watch Joe, see Joe play in a game like that against one of the greats of the game. Quite amazing. And I have looked back a lot and looked at videos, and I've pretty much got videos of his last field goal, his last free throws and stuff like that. So they're pretty cool to look back on and just sort of reminisce.
Oh, I mean, for sure. To go out like that, your last game, 60 points, winning the game for your team with everyone, like past play, Shaq and everyone there. Like, I was watching on TV just with mad regret, but just enjoying the moment, like just the shots he hit. And just, I mean, I'm sure Joe would appreciate it. Obviously, they lost. I don't think the game meant anything for them, but to be able to guard him and play on him and be a part of that whole thing, even though they lost, I'm sure he'll remember that for forever as well.
No, for sure. And I remember chatting to him after the game, and so I got that photo of Kobe hitting the three over the top of him. But the funny thing is that he actually came down the other end, and I just still remember it. Is Kobe was guarding him, and he dropped the three over him, pretty much identical at the other end of the court, the very next play. So just to have things like that, and he remembered it because I sent him that when I sent him that picture, he like straight away hit back. He goes, "Yeah, what happened what happened in the next play?" So like for him to have a memory like that, like he's going to play in a lot of games. He's going to play in a lot of good games, but I think that's probably going to go down as one of the better ones that he ever got to play in.
No question. You mentioned taking care of your body, looking after your body. Sleep is by far the best form of recovery. One of my great mates, I think yours as well, Johnny G at Harvey Norman Nuttawading, as well as Jason from Temper. I know you have the Temper bed. How amazing is that? Like, obviously, you spend a third of your life kind of laying in a bed, but to have a Temper bed and be treated every time you go to sleep must help your body in recovery and get ready for the next day.
No, I do. I think, I've been pretty lucky through some mutual friends got in contact with Jace from Temper and have been looked after for a long time. So, it's mad. I think at home it's great. I don't spend a lot of time there, so I don't get to enjoy it as much as possible. But I think I'm pretty lucky that they've got a wide range of stuff that I can travel with. So I travel with a little fold-out Temper mat that I put on the beds I sleep on in hotels, and obviously travel with a couple of pillows and stuff like that. So it's obviously the home, having a bed at home that you love is great. But for me, with traveling, I'm pretty lucky that to be aligned with obviously a company like Temper. The extra accessories they have for travel definitely help me with all the different hotels and all the different beds I tend to stay in over the year.
Now, I know you love F1. Any Grand Prix you get to go to? I know you met, I don't know how well you know Daniel Ricciardo and whatnot. Jace, he wanted to know your favourite F1 team, if you have one, and how much you enjoy going to a Grand Prix and watching the cars.
Yeah, like I said, mad sports fan, so just love anything. And like I said, following Aussies. So you have Aussies in different things. So lucky to have obviously Dan driving for Renault at the moment, Mark Webber in the past. But the biggest probably benefit I've got is one of my close mates I've known for a long time actually works for Mercedes F1 team. So I get looked after pretty well, going to support them, going to support races. But when I'm playing cricket over in England during our winter there, summer, it usually makes for a good time to be able to nip off for quick trips to European races and get to as many as I can. So I've been very fortunate to go to some good ones. Always nice cheering on Dan. It obviously doesn't have as much success with the team he's at now, but just love watching the sport. It's a great atmosphere, great weekend. So hopefully tick a few more off in the coming years.
Now, like any true athlete, I understand you have quite the shoe collection, and your wife Anna's had to put a stop and a halt on the spending. You have quite a collection of shoes built up.
Yeah, I do. Especially for a bloke that doesn't play basketball. I haven't played basketball in about 15 years. The wife doesn't understand how someone can have 30 pairs of basketball shoes and never wear them, which is pretty much what happens. But I tend to buy them. You wear them a couple of times, and then because I'm not actually using them, they tend to just sit there. But you never know. Like, I might have to pull the boots back on and get back on the court once I'm done. But I think I get a bit nervous around the cricket team if I tend to come down and hurt myself. So the shoes will come in handy one day, I tell her. So
one day,
that's
they'll
right.
either be worth a lot of money or you'll wear them once you retire. A question I had for someone is, I'm assuming you must eat a lot of bananas in a day. Like, how many bananas do you eat in a day?
I don't eat as many as everyone thinks, but Warnie told this sort of tale during a test match years ago that I have a lot of smoothies. So like protein shakes pretty much, but rather than have a boring protein shake, I pre-make smoothies in the morning when I take to the ground, and so they have bananas in them. And then Warnie pretty much during the test series was saying that I was having like 30 bananas a day. So I sort of just stuck. I just went along with it because, when you talk to young kids around cricket, they just love little funny things like that. So you just, I had 25 today, you just joke with it. But then after 10 years of just joking about it, everyone thinks it's true. So I might have maybe like on a busy day when you're playing, like a big long day, I've got a few shakes. I have one in the morning for breakfast, have a few at the game, after the game. I might have 10 bananas in a day. But so it's not around the 30. But then I can go days where I don't have any. So
that's still a lot of bananas to have in one day.
It is. But I don't tend to eat many bananas, as in, they're always in a smoothie. So I don't even struggle. If someone said, "I'll eat 10 bananas for me now," I probably couldn't do that. But pretty easy when they're blended up in a smoothie. And but that's where the story comes from. Warnie made it a lot better than it was.
Now, I know you've traveled all over. Ash tells me you celebs. You've probably met a bunch of celebs. I don't know if she's that much of a celeb, but Khloe Kardashian in LA. Have you met anyone else that kind of stands out before I move on to my last question?
That's probably one of the biggest. I've met a lot of like sports stars. That obviously, especially F1, you obviously meet a lot of big stars throughout that. But I think sort of celebs that everyone knows, like young kids, young girls, females. Khloe Kardashian's probably one of the most popular ones that everyone knows of. It was on a trip, that same trip when I watched the basketball. The girls were going off to Coachella. I stayed in LA, watched the basketball. Went to a bar to catch up with a mate. We were sitting down on a table, and about 10 minutes after sitting down, she came and sat down right next to us. So that was probably one of the highlights that the female audience probably know and understand. But lots of different sportsmen, but I class her as one of the bigger ones.
Love it. Now I wanted to leave this. I think this is probably the most important and probably something you're pretty passionate about. Obviously Patty Mills is doing a lot of great things, not just on the basketball court, but just in the world generally with everything he's doing. And obviously the We Got You campaign. You're a part of. I've written them down. These big time athletes: Dangerfield, Joe Ingles, Daly Cherry Evans, Erin Phillips, Geordie Kahu, Eddie Betts, Romelda Aiken, Scott Seo, Lydia Williams, Simon Goodwin, and obviously Patty, with yourself, have kind of teamed up. And that's covering all sports from AFL, AFLW, basketball, both rugby, soccer, netball, for a campaign that I know he's super passionate about, and you are as well. What does it mean to you to be part of that, the We Got You campaign, to try and put an end to racism in sport?
Yeah, it's massive. I think it's something that in all sports that we're affected by. How Paddy likes to put it, that I'm a part of it as more the majority. I'm the majority of the population that that isn't affected by it personally. Yeah. But I play a sport where we travel the world. We go to lots of different countries, cultures. And I play alongside, other players from other countries. Especially, you tend to play alongside a lot of Asians, sort of like Pakistani, Indians, and stuff like that. So not so much the Aboriginal side of things, but as part of that, that's where I wanted to sort of make my impact and hopefully be a hand, because I know that I go overseas and I get abused and racially abused, but after speaking to Paddy and some of my teammates, Dan Christian, Aboriginal player that I've played alongside a long time, and Fawad Ahmed, who's a Pakistani, moved to Australia as asylum, and played a long time against him, just how they get treated, and just hearing their stories. It's just, it's just hard. It's hard on them. And at the end of the day, in all life, you just want to go about your business and just live your life, whether you're a sportsman or you're not. And I think, from the majority of people, it's just about education, and just not understanding and just being a good person. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, is just be a good person. And that's always the worrying thing, that, I see my teammates affected by it. And it just makes you feel upset. So yeah, to just try and bring awareness, and a bit of education, as much as we can, to people that may be either affected, and try and change people's, opinions, that if they are the ones that do sort of racially abuse people. So yeah, hopefully it can make a little bit of a change. I think a little bit, like speaking with Paddy about it, and everything that he's copped over the years, a little bit of change will make a massive difference to how people are sort of treated and looked after, even for years to come. So yeah, hopefully it can do a little bit, and it's not just something that pops up for one day and everyone thinks it's a big deal and then it goes away. I think the big deal is obviously keeping it in communication and being consistent with getting that communication out there.
Yeah, I mean, like all of us, I mean, obviously sports players in I guess influential positions, like you just said, that you've seen that racial vilification acts, and we've all seen on TV with Eddie and the stuff that gets posted. Like, obviously you're a massive part of that, being a part of that 11 or 12 star athletes that can influence change. Obviously it's a massive responsibility to try and provide a safe environment for obviously players now, but obviously kids and stuff coming through as well. Yeah,
and that's right. I think there's and speaking to especially Paddy about it, like he's the example of it doesn't worry him. He can let it slide off his back. It doesn't worry him. He's fine. But a lot of people in his position, Aboriginal or from the other countries, not everyone can be like that. Like, it does affect some people. But it might not affect them. It might have the effect on their family and their children and stuff like that. So Eddie's the perfect example, like wife, a few kids. They're the ones that probably get affected by it more so than him. But it's trying to get it to a point where he doesn't get affected. So then his family don't even have to worry about him, and he can just play the game. And we saw it again on the weekend. Aaron Hall plays the Kangaroos. Had a bad game. He has a photo up with his family, and some guy just has a dig at him. Like just it's sad that obviously these people are just keyboard warriors and stuff like that. Would never say it out in public, but if he's thinking it, that's already gone too far. If he's having those thoughts, so hopefully we can see a bit of change in the coming years. And like I said, it's not just a one-day thing. It's gonna be a process, and it's gonna be slow. But hopefully, in that slow process, we can see a little bit of change.
It's just going to take, obviously, everyone that, if you see it happening, like calling people out and pulling people up on it and correcting that thing. And like you said, it's going to take a long time. But if everyone kind of bands together a little bit and just tries to help, I think that's going to be the way to go about it and stamp it out sooner rather tand later, hopefully.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, it's just about having those communications. And I've even seen it already in around the team environment, stuff like that. There's a lot more communication about it and discussions. And I think, the more the teammates and can obviously get educated as a team, I think, the more that they'll understand. And then as they spurt out back to their families and friends and stuff like that, that if the subject does come up, they're in a good position to then, communicate with them about it, and hopefully just snowballs from there. And it just feeds out into the community naturally and progresses to, like you said, a better place for the minority, which is how Paddy sort of calls it, which they are, is a lot more comfortable in their environment and just in their everyday life.
Yeah, I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. Obviously, he's leading from the front and has done a lot. Obviously, with this stuff, the bushfires and whatnot, is a great man. But it's awesome you guys are all involved in that, and we'll all just try and do our part to try and help out. But mate, that's all I had for you. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, jumping off that Ironman bike and joining me. Good luck in Tassie. awesome that you're in my home state, representing the green. And I think you're playing with Matty Wade. Matty Wade was a great footballer. I played state footy with him 1 year. So you'll have a lot of fun down there, no doubt.
No, yeah, looking forward to it. I've been pretty lucky that, I grew up playing against Painey, Tim Payne for a long time, and Matty Wade, who actually moved across and played with me in Victoria for 8 years before he came back to Tasmania. So Matty's one of my closest mates. So to be able to come back to his home, he came to mine and made his career, and hopefully, I can come back to his now and, just be able to help some of the young guys along, still play the game, but help develop some of these youngsters and enjoy Hobart, enjoy Tassie. It is a lovely place. So, looking forward to hopefully winning some games, but exploring the state.
He was a great little on-baller, Matty. Little nugget he was. Tiny little fella, but he went in hard, that's for sure.
He is hard. He's a tough man.
He's a tough man. Mate, I really appreciate it. Awesome to chat. Awesome to, hear your stories and give the basketball community a outside look on a different athlete from a different sport, but someone that loves the NBL and basketball in general, mate. So I really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me on, mate. And, all the best. Hopefully, everything can clear over. And like us as well, we're looking to hopefully start our season at some stage. And, hopefully the same for you guys, because I know I want to get along and watch some basketball. So fingers crossed.
You're a good man. Thanks a lot, Pete. Appreciate it.
All the best, mate.
Yeah.